obviously you're learning a lot about deep learning in particular, and I know that you have a particular philosophy of learning deep learning that you describe as top down. Do you want to describe for our listeners what that means and why it might also be the way that they should be learning complex concepts like deep learning?
Yeah, yeah. So I'll preface this by saying that, like, I've got a master's in mathematics and statistics. I was a biostatistician. I was an actuary. I was a data scientist. So uh, this is coming from that perspective. But even with as somebody who has that background, like my approach is to just skip the math. First, skip the math, right? Ignore it when you're starting out, because looking at equations is going to demotivate you, right? So what I instead uh, implore people to do is just look for applications of deep learning, right? So, pick up YOLO-NAS and run it on some image, see the power of it. Open up, ChatGPT or any of the other language models and start playing with it, like interacting with it. Start interacting with models, trying to build something with it, trying to do cool stuff with it, right? Open up, learn some LangChain and see what you can build, right? Just see the magic happen, get inspired. Um, then once you're kind of inspired, right? If you think it's cool, right? Some people probably won't think it's cool. They'll just, be like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. That's fine. But if you think it's cool and you're interested, then dig a little bit deeper. And digging deeper, there's like a couple of places I recommend. One of them, Andrew Glassner has this deep learning crash course. It's like 3.5 hours long, but it gives you just proper intuition for how all this works. Very good return on time investment. So like he wrote this book, the Deep Learning, the Illustrated Guide. Huge, massive book, right? Um, no
Yeah,
math
deep learning, a
whatsoever.
visual approach.
Oh yes, deep learning visual approach. Yes, deep learning illustrated is another book I'm about to talk about. But deep learning illustrated approach, great book. And then once you do that, start learning some PyTorch. Right, just you need to move away from scikit-learn. Going from scikit-learn to PyTorch is a bit of a mental shift. But you know, Daniel Burke. I'm not sure if you've interviewed him on your podcast or not. He's awesome. He's based out of Australia. Highly recommend him. Mr. D Burke on Twitter. But he's got the Zero to Mastery PyTorch course. Go through that because you're going to get a bit of intuition about what's happening under the hood. Then you're getting your fingers on the keyboard, you're getting your hands dirty, you're coding, right? This is nice because it's completely self-paced, and you're going to learn how to code in PyTorch, which I think is the best for deep learning in about a week, right? You'll be comfortable with PyTorch in a week. So now, once you got that, then you pick up this book by John Krohn called Deep Learning Illustrated. And this will get you more to the math, right? So get more into the math with this book than John on YouTube that teaches you the basics of deep learning math. 2.5 hour time investment, and you're learning from an Oxford PhD. Come on, that's amazing. And then, and then, uh, and then I think one of the most important things is just you have to understand back propagation. I think once you've gotten to this point, right, just spend some time understanding back propagation. Um, to just make sure you kind of understand what, intuitively what's happening, and, maybe a little bit mathematically. I like Andre Karpathy's, I think it's called Neural Network Zero to Hero on YouTube. Great resource for that. You actually end up building um, like a mini version of PyTorch. I think he calls it like mini grad or something like that. But it's amazing. It's great. Once you've done that, then get an understanding of more foundational architectures. You could, once my LinkedIn Learning course is out, go through that, go through some of the foundational computer vision architectures. Yannick Kilcher has a great YouTube series on classical papers. He breaks it down in an easy to understand manner. Um, and then just join some community, be around other people who are into the same stuff. You want to be around people who have a broad range of experience, from learners to experts. And then finally, just projects. Just do projects. Get on Kaggle. Do a bunch of projects. Um, I think that's the best way to go about this.